Hey, welcome back. Welcome home.
Sorry, I'm used to YouTube channel.
It's okay.
We're gonna.
No. I think we should keep that in.
No.
I think we're gonna keep it in.
No.
We're gonna keep. You're gonna have to deal with that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and it's gonna haunt me.
I did think about what that would be like for the rest of the, because welcome home and then welcome back. You know, but it isn't. It doesn't really matter. Maybe it'll change.
Well, when you're famous on YouTube, like, what could I do? All 34 of my subscribers are watching this in shame.
Okay, I don't know where she's going with that, but if you're listening, if you're watching the video version, you will realize we're wearing the same outfits as last episode. Is because we were too excited, and we wanted to record it back to back. So yeah, we're wearing the same thing. We do have hot cocoa over here. I'm gonna be drinking it a couple times. Elie had the great idea to what?
To go into depth of our real meet cute.
Not that the quick rundown from last episode wasn't real, but maybe get into in depth of the stories.
How we met, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Because there are more details that we didn't share, so you're getting the inside scoop. You might be familiar with this story if you are a loyal subscriber of Ryan's.
I quite don't know where she's trying to go with this because I don't really know.
He did a story time.
In-depth details. Maybe I think I kind of understand now.
It's in-depth details if you don't know the story. If you do know the story, then this is just going to be a repeat.
Okay. Do you want to start with your part? Like your...
Yes.
A little bit before we met and maybe...
Yes.
Your side of it, and then I'll get into my side.
Yes. So...
'Cause I want this cocoa.
I had not been going to this school my entire life. I was not a charter member.
And did you want to say what school you were either going to or that we met? Because I'd be fine with it.
But I feel like it's not really important to the story because if you're listening from across the country, you don't know where small town USA is.
Well, you're not really wrong, so go ahead.
But I have not been going to this school my whole life, unlike somebody. So I didn't know everybody that went to this school. This is important because I would probably know who he was if I had gone to this school because it's a small school. Everybody knows everybody. I could probably, if I was given maybe an hour.
The graduating class size was around 100 depending on.
And you knew everybody you were graduating with. Like there wasn't a stranger on graduation day. If I was given about an hour, I could probably list out everybody.
Even the school itself, when the new freshmen come in, obviously you're not really going to know them, but you get to know them.
You get to know people. I mean, you don't know everybody in every class, but at least in your class, you know. The grade above you, you tend to know. The grade under you. But because I was fairly new to the school, not really, but I had been going there for I started going to this school district in 7th grade. So Ryan would have been starting his high school career when I started my middle school career and actually my public school.
Now, the conversation we had the other day about ages, that's weird.
Okay.
Just saying.
Yeah. Good thing we didn't start dating when I was in 7th grade. So, anyways, I barely started going to this particular school in 7th grade. So when I got to high school, so 2 years later, I'm in high school. Ryan is a junior in high school. So he's been there for 2 years. He knows his way around. I am starting my freshman year, and I am coming to high school with...
What made you go to that school? Why did all of a sudden you went to the
public school?
Yeah.
I used to go to a private school, and it cost a lot of money for my parents. And I went to the same private school from when I was 3 years old. I did 2 years of preschool to when I was in 5th grade. So it was a really good school. The academics were amazing. But to have to pay tuition and drive your 3 children.
But the second private school.
Can I finish my
I
story?
know. But the second private school is also expensive, is it not?
Yes.
Okay.
So, my parents had to pay for 3 kids to attend this school every year, tens of thousands of dollars each, and then also have to
Is it
drive.
really that expensive to go to that first school? I didn't know that.
And then it's like college tuition type money,
That's
and then
insane.
have to drive your children to said school over 30 or about 30 minutes away every morning. Because obviously the bus is not going to come way out there in a whole nother town, So my parents were doing that for a really long time, my entire elementary years. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. But after my 5th grade year, when I was in 6th grade, they started putting me in another private school, which was closer to home. And at the time we bought another house. So it was really close to, I would say, like maybe 8 minutes away. I don't know. But we were going to this school. We went there for a year. It's not a school.
My sister actually went to that school for a little while. Just to barge into your story a little bit. My sister
this is crazy, guys.
was bullied for like pretty much ever since she started school.
Public school.
And she decided with my parents' permission to go to this private school.
And this private school, the second private school that we're talking about, my class it was a combo class, 5th and 6th grade, which can be done, but this was not the way you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, and then I also would say the class size itself is probably
And the class size was
count on
less
your
than
hands.
10.
Yeah.
With 2 of those people being in 5th grade and the rest of us being in 6th grade. And we had the biggest class in the school.
I'm homeschooling my kids, and then I want to start allowing other people to come. And the family friends that I know have kids, and they're going to come, and I'm going to teach them. That's kind of how
But they made it into a school. We had a lunch lady. She made lunch every day. We had a principal.
Wasn't she also the teacher, though? The principal?
She was the high school teacher. Keep in mind, not 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade teacher. The high school teacher, because all high schoolers were in the same room.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say none of the teachers were accredited because I don't know that. But I do know that some of them weren't, and they didn't have to be.
But yeah, so my sister went there, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys did go there.
No, we both went there at the same time at one point.
At one point.
Well, I mean, I don't know if she was there the whole year. I was there for a whole school year. But his sister was going to the high school.
She's like my sister is 2 years older than me.
So she's like 4 years older than me. So yeah, she was in high school. And at the same time.
And then eventually my sister did go to back to public school her senior year, which she had to take some freshman classes, which is kind of funny, but it was interesting and fun to have a class with my sister.
Yeah.
Because I never had that. I wish I did. That was nice.
Yeah, so after that final year of private school, for me and both of my younger siblings, our academics tanked, and we were like losing what my parents had built up while we went to this like other like private school. And so they were like, this is just not even worth the money at this point. My kids are not learning like at the rate that they were. And so like it's just not worth it anymore. And so we think it's time for public school. So I had a big culture shock coming for me. I didn't know it, but my first day of public school was wild.
Because the first private school, almost all of them were white, right?
That is true. Culturally, it was also a culture shock for me.
And then the second one, I would say probably the majority.
No, the same thing. But like not just a culture shock. Not just culture like racially or ethnically shock. It was a big shock for me because both of the private schools I went to were Christian schools. And so there wasn't, I mean, not at the elementary level, there wasn't a lot of cussing. I'm sure at the high school level of the Christian school, there's a ton of.
I don't know. A lot of them are pretty goody.
You don't know the school I went to.
I never went there, but I did go to a
And
youth
not
group
to-
there a few times. Well, you can spill the beans, spill the tea, whatever. Stain the whole thing. Go
They
ahead.
look goody two shoes.
Yeah, I would say that.
At the elementary school level, we're all just good kids, but
I won't say his name, but he was there,
he was there
and then
when I wasn't there.
he went to the public school.
I knew, actually, he might have been there his last year might have been, I don't know. I knew of him for other reasons.
Because there was actually a couple
I don't know
people
why I'm talking about
who
this.
went.
I knew of him because of swim and stuff, but
Okay, interesting.
but and because of that school. But anyways, at the elementary level, everyone was pretty good, but like, I'm sure going into high school, like the first private school that I went to was their high school was separate from elementary and junior high. So like we did not know I didn't know what was going on at the high school level. I didn't know any of the high school kids. I didn't know what the culture was like there because it was a totally different building across town. So like who knows if it was functioning like a regular high school. But like at the second private school that I went to, because it was all just one building and we just each grade level or more had one classroom, you were pretty like close with the kids that went there. Also, you knew that like what they were doing after school, like after school activities and stuff. But even then, it was nothing compared to like what was allowed in the school building. So like regardless of what kids choose to do outside of school, inside school, you are held to a different standard in private school. Even I think if it's not a Christian school, if it's just a private school, like you are just like, the rules are different. And so my first day of public school, it felt like a movie. Like, why are we cussing? Those words are not in my vocabulary, first of all.
Well, I bet they were.
They were not in my vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, teachers walking by laughing because a kid said something that was funny with a cuss word in it. Like, I just remember being like, I feel like this is literally so typical. Like, this is so, like, it was the stereotype of what a school is like in a movie. That's what it felt like to me on my first day. Obviously, I continued my public school education up until my graduating high school. So like I knew that some things were not true, but like my first day of middle school was also my first day of public school, and it was a lot.
Yeah.
Like it was big time shock. And then we went to a predominantly white school, even in public school, but that was even more diverse than when I had gone to my private school because I was one of 3 non-white people in my class at my first private school. And so, yeah, that's something that not everybody should have to go through. Even though, like, I am also a white person, but, like, even I was singled out there. But going to public school and seeing, like, a few dozen more people that look like me, it's very interesting. Of course, when you go to a small, predominantly white public school, birds of a feather flock together. Mm-hmm. And so my entire friend group was the Mexican kids. But I'm saying this because...
And actually, I'm going to jump in there too because it's just real quick. my friend group was predominantly girls.
And also predominantly Mexican.
Yeah, well, I don't really know how that ever happened, but yeah, I just always hung out with girls. I was made fun of so much in school, from even elementary,
You're just built different.
because everyone called me gay and every other slur under the umbrella of gay, and all for what? Hanging out with girls? I think that you just want to be me or something.
And look at them now.
But it's also kind of funny because the group that I was with are no longer my friends.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I might be the wrecker of that friend group, but
Maybe the domino, like the first domino, but
it was bound to happen.
Bound to happen. I think that's what I would say is bound to happen.
But this friend group of mine, that it didn't really form in 7th grade. They were friends without me, obviously, because most of them were actually charter members. But for me, I had friends. I was friends with the new girls because we all didn't really have friends. But by 8th grade, I had been let into the Mexican kid group. And they became my friends. And I wouldn't change it. I love some of those people to this day. But
And one of the worst ones is not in your family, but in your family friends, and who is a totally different person than what they were.
One of the worst ones? I wouldn't say one of the worst ones.
I would say one of the worst ones, at least for me, in my opinion.
There was a little bit of bullying going on, and no, I couldn't hold my own at the time. But it wasn't bullying. It wasn't like physical bullying. So like,
it was just emotional, no big deal.
But I survived, and it wasn't like extreme bullying where they could make a movie out of it. Like, it was just like teasing, but those people aren't like that anymore. They've all matured. Anyways, that friend group carried on past 8th grade into high school. And so in high school, I had friends. And we all sat together for lunchtime outside in our school's courtyard. Our high school has
You're
now...
making it sound like it's like this like cryptic message you're trying to get across to
I'm
me.
not trying to. I'm just trying to transition it smoothly, but
okay.
It's not working, I guess. Anyways, our high school building has now been rebuilt, but at the time they didn't have room for even the small amount of high schoolers they had in their cafeteria. And so you could basically sit wherever you fit. You could sit in a classroom if the teacher was open to it.
Yeah.
A lot of people sat on this side of like this grassy hill. A lot of like by the ramp thing. Yeah. A lot of people sat just outside in a circle. In the courtyard there was like, I don't know,
cement tables.
How many? Like 10 maybe? 10 cement tables? No?
There's like 4 or 5. There's not that many.
There wasn't some on both sides?
No, it was just one side.
Yeah, there was like 4 or 5.
Because I used to sit on one of those tables, and then with a separate friend group, and then I moved to that step, like the weird kind of area where the weird kids were.
Oh, the like, yeah.
Where the 2 stairs,
yeah,
you know, like by seniors.
And they had to close that off.
Right, for now. But then I went there.
And then they had the library.
And then we went to the library.
So there was like quite a few places you could sit besides the cafeteria, because not everybody sat in the cafeteria, because not everybody fit. There was no way they would fit us all in there. So they were probably banking on the fact that the students chose to sit somewhere else, because if there was like a policy or something, because I know some like schools have like rules about like behavior management and stuff like that, where like these kids are just leaving school, like, no, we're just going to put them all in the cafeteria. That wouldn't work for this school because there was no room. It's now been rebuilt. I don't know if there's room now.
I think there's plenty.
There's probably room.
But they probably still do the same thing.
Well, yeah.
For the most part.
But yeah, our school was very lenient. We were able to leave at lunchtime if we wanted to, and I know not very many schools are allowed to do that. It's not very safe, but we could leave if we wanted to. If you wanted to go to McDonald's or go home. Anyways, open campus is what I'm getting at. So we're sitting at the courtyard, but there often wasn't a lot of room. And if it was hot outside, you didn't want to sit out in the courtyard for 30, 40 minutes eating your lunch, standing too.
And that's kind of why, especially in the wintertime, the library would get packed.
Yes. So you kind of had to like have a plan on where you were sitting. Like if you were the first friend to get to lunch, you're not lollygagging. You're getting to your table and putting your food down, putting your backpack down, saving some spots for your friends to come. But if you're one of the last people, because let's say your class gets out late, you might as well just give up on the idea that you have a spot to sit. And you're going to have to either find another friend group that's maybe not your first choice. Hopefully they have a spot for you. That's kind of how lunch worked. And if it's hot outside and there's no room for you to sit and you're standing with your plate, like just no. No. So one day, me and my friend got out to lunch and our friends had taken over the table but didn't leave a spot for us. And we were upset because especially this friend was like the leader of the pack. And so she was kind of like upset by it. And she's like, she told me, this is so dramatic, but she's like, let's go sit in the library with mutual friend. Maybe she saved a spot for us, or maybe she has an extra spot. And for some reason, the floodgates opened to my particular friend. If she asked someone to do something, they did it. And so we went upstairs to the library where our mutual friend was, and we asked her if we could sit there, and she said yes. There was 2 open spots.
And then I think I should tell my story from from up to that point.
Okay.
So she kind of mentioned it, but I went to school in this district since I was put into it, since I was born, basically.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, I do remember some sort of pre-K sort of.
You probably did.
I was gonna say nursery, but what's it called?
Preschool?
No.
Daycare?
Daycare. I think it was probably some sort of daycare situation that I can remember, but not much. So I had, throughout my years, pretty much ever since kindergarten, I was friends with, I'm willing to say her name.
I don't think we should. Should I not consent to that?
It's just a name. It's not like they're going to figure out their last name.
But still. We don't need to.
You're making me want to say it even more.
Our mutual friend.
Yeah. We were best friends since kindergarten. It was like this, like the whole school knew it. The whole school, if they saw this person, they would wonder where I was at, or the other way around, because we were like best buds of best buds. We also did have a third person in our friend group, but he moved away in elementary school, I'm pretty sure, like 3rd grade or something like that, something a little bit older. So it was just kind of us, and then occasionally like a new kid would come to school. They were also in our friend group for a little while, and then not, and then yeah, and then whatever. But my friend and my best friend, our mutual friend, did move to a different district because of, I think, a family situation. Like she went to go live with her mom or something, or her mom's side or whatever. She did, like, and when that happened, I went to a different friend group. I mean, it was a small school, so you knew a lot of people, and I went with a different friend group. And I did date one of those people in that friend group for a little while. Evidently, it was like more than a year. I still don't remember that. But, but yeah, eventually this best friend of mine would come back, like some year in high school. Like she did come back in middle school, but she also then left again, and then came back once more. That sounded like a cry.
We haven't mentioned it on this podcast episode, so if you didn't watch our first podcast episode 0,
Yeah.
our dog son is in here dreaming away, and so if you can hear him, he's growling, crying, on the verge of a bark.
Yeah. So if we get scared, that's why. But anyways, back to the story. Finally, this best friend comes back to high school for, forever. And it was almost like she never left. We were just right back into the friend
That's
group.
so cute, though.
And we did have several other friends in our friend group, and we all sat together during lunch. And I would say maybe if no one was there, like everyone was gone, or it was just me and someone else or whatever, we would go our separate ways for lunch. But
so
it
like
was
she was the backbone.
her and
Yeah. But you weren't the backbone.
no, I never was, which is fine. I knew that those two were the funny ones, the ones that everyone liked.
They were like best friends. Like that was her girl best friend. You were her guy best friend.
And when Elie came, because you were in the library a couple times at the table that was further away from us.
I had other friends also, but they weren't like my friend group. They were more like, acquaintances. They were my friends, I would say, but they weren't like my lunchtime every day, like talk to everyday friends. But they were like, if I needed somewhere to sit, or if I was just tired of my other friend group and like I was tired of the way that they were treating me, then I would go and sit with my other friends in the library too. Yeah.
And during this time, I was dating, if you listen to the last episode, I was dating this girl who lived about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And
how they met is a mystery.
And so basically, when I saw Elie at this table.
Well.
What?
Oh, okay. I didn't know what you were getting to. I was a little scared, but go on.
Okay, at this table that is in the library, when I saw her, I thought she was very attractive. I thought she was pretty and cute, and I was like, wow, she, hopefully maybe one day I can be her friend or something.
This is according to him.
I don't know what that means because the story can't change.
Can anybody else back that up?
No, but saying this as I was in a relationship at the time, I think is okay to say that, someone is attractive. But
I think he's saying it because he wants brownie points.
Oh, no, this is serious. This happened. This was real. And I've said it before. Anyways, so ironically, I'm going to kind of go back in time a little bit. When you were going to the second private school where my sister was going to, there was some
I was going to say this too.
After
we had like a recital
or
program,
like
Christmas
programs,
program,
stuff like that. And I went to one of them. I think I went to all of them, but this one in particular.
This I particularly don't believe. I believe he was there. We actually have proven that.
I went to this one. And for some reason, this girl in the freaking stands.
This 11-year-old girl, by the way.
And I was like 12
13.
or 13 or something like that. But she was a little girl. She was wearing a bright red dress.
Little girl.
Compared to like everyone else was wearing their thing, and she was wearing a bright red dress, and she just.
It was Christmas time. Me and my sister were wearing the same thing too.
She just spoke out to me, basically. Just popped out like a sore thumb, and it's not like I found you attractive. I mean, I was I don't even think I could see your face. But I saw you, and we do have evidence of this program, but
You guys,
we don't have evidence of me actually being there.
No, but we have evidence of another situation where me and Ryan were in the same place at the same time.
One summer, your private school had this baseball sort of
yes,
I don't
and
know,
this
event.
was at the time.
It was like this,
and that makes sense. Your sister was going to the same
right?
school.
It was this community event that they were going. It was like a barbecue, whatever. I don't know. I can't remember.
It was just
what
like a family event, so all the kids and their families
and
had
my
played
sister
baseball.
took my camcorder that I had. Pretty sure it was a camcorder. I mentioned it in the last episode that my mom bought me this camcorder, this cheap little camcorder that I use to make little stupid YouTube videos or just videos with my friends. And eventually got a different camera, but anyways, she recorded some clips of me playing this baseball game, and while I was running, in even some other clips that my sister got, you can see Elie standing
I'm just
with
like talking with my friends.
her
I'm not
friend,
playing.
which is a sister of my friend.
Yeah, that's
technically.
crazy too.
And one of the times that my sister recorded for me was of me running to the bases and stuff. Well, I got struck out or something, or like I got out. Not struck out. I got out.
Yeah.
And Ellie's brother, all of a sudden,
Who at the time was in first grade.
he like ran over to me. I was laying on the ground, and he like yelled at me. Just, I can remember seeing his face with his long hair screaming at me, and then ran off. Also, your mom was at one of the bases, and I either was standing at her base or I ran past her or something. So we were in the same freaking
And we
place.
didn't discover this footage or even like think about it until like a couple years into us like being together, I feel like.
Yeah. Something like that. But that happened. So going back forward in time
You saw me at this
when I
table.
saw you at the table, basically all I'm saying is the one day that they did decide to sit at our table, it was kind of like, wow, this girl that just
Like,
kind of that I yeah, I basically was falling in love with because she was so gorgeous.
What?
Sat at her table, and you didn't sit next to me, but I'm kind of glad because I got to look at you some more.
Oh, whatever. So
And
continue.
I think eventually, I mean, you can start talking because I mean that's pretty much my start of the story.
So
there's nothing else that you need to
me
know
and
about
my
me.
mutual friend, or sorry, not our mutual friend. Me and my friend from my friend group, who is my age, we knew this mutual friend because we had a class with her.
And you had a class with her because she moved
back and she needed to take freshman classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a class with her. We had health with her, and we clicked because she's a very funny person. I like to think of myself as funny. My best friend, was really funny. Is probably still really funny. I don't know. I don't really talk to her. But anyways, we went to go sit up there, and then we were introduced. And then we ended up, this is the part of the timeline that like I don't exactly know.
It's also kind of a blur.
But I don't know if we went into the next quarter of the school year. This was like,
Because you did go to Israel, right?
yes, but that was before I knew you.
Was it though?
That might have been when I knew you, but I didn't have class with you. Yeah.
And then
So like
we
I
went
knew
to the
him,
new
but
school
only from this
school year,
one, maybe
quarter.
one or two times that I had sat with him at this table. However, that didn't make us instant friends. We were still friends. We weren't even friends with all of the girls at his table. We were mainly friends with that mutual connection that we had. And to be honest, we were just using her at the time to have a place to sit for lunch. But then like over time, we started becoming friends. And then
your friend.
One day my friend had an open spot at the table in the courtyard. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go sit in the library.
Well, I was also going to mention that friend kind of one day got all pissed off
That's
at
another,
us.
no, that's
What?
another time. Listen, I
probably the
haven't
same
gotten
time.
to when we went to sports medicine yet. So I was like, I'm gonna go and sit with my new friends, my new older friends in the cafeteria, or not the cafeteria, the library. I'm not gonna sit with you guys. And I remember my friend being so mad because she's like, I remember her being like, no, like our friend group is down here. Like, and she was kind of being like, I don't know what the word is, like really dramatic. Basically, like, if you don't sit with us, like, you're not going to be guaranteed a spot to sit with us like another day. And I'm like, what is this? Anyways, I took it seriously. I took her little threat seriously. And I was like, still, I'm going to go sit in the library with my new friends. So I did. And from that day on, I sat with you guys every day for the remainder of that. I don't know.
So to me, that's a little different, like from what I can remember, because she stopped sitting with us because she got all mad at us or something. Because she heard this rumor or something about someone talking about her, and
that's
she came
probably
in
it. Probably all happened at the same time.
Yeah, and then you sat there.
Yeah, I think that's also true. I do kind of remember that. Another disclaimer: our dog is really clingy.
Yeah. So he's awake now, and he's now sitting,
He'll probably
putting
fall
his
back
head
to
on
sleep.
my lap. But I think we can go to the next quarter.
She also got mad at his friends.
Yeah, for some, I don't know,
For some stupid rumor that probably didn't exist, and that's probably why I still sat with you guys. She was like, "This is fake."
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, then the next quarter or trimester, our school's on a trimester system, in the spring. So at this time, I'm not even 15 years old yet. That's wild to think about. Because this is my freshman year. Anyways, me and Ryan over here have a class together. And then I had another friend. I'm still friends with her. She was in that class with me. And Ryan was in that class with his best friend, the mutual friend that we had. And so then we all sat together, and that's when he just could not contain himself.
I take that as a dig, but I'm going to let it slide.
He was still in a relationship at this time.
I was not.
You were?
I was, but I'm not saying that to that. I'm saying I was not flirting to be with you.
What were you flirting for then?
I think just to flirt. I think we can all say and agree that I'm a nice guy who is mistaken for being a flirt and maybe being flirt. I don't know.
At the time,
I can't
especially,
remember.
he was flirty.
But anyways, so I was in a relationship with the same girl that lived an hour and a half away, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
We never did anything during that time.
What?
Just want to.
Oh yeah, I never cheated on her.
We were kind of making it sound like we didn't do anything.
But there were I basically called Elie my best friend, and
we weren't best friends
and whatever. And I did look forward to seeing you in that class and after school and walking with you for the last little few minutes or whatever before we went our separate ways for you to be in track.
I was in track at the time.
I remember that. And then
it was all harmless. We were just friends. Like at this time that he's talking about, we weren't. I didn't think he liked me. I didn't know that he liked me. Like there wasn't I don't know how to explain it. Like it wasn't like we were talking at this time. We were just friends, goofing off. We had each other's Snapchat. Because then you got my number.
But I didn't get your number while I was dating.
I know. That's what I'm saying. At this time, we're just friends.
Right. So then, all of a sudden, my girlfriend broke up with me. It was this kind of big deal,
big
blah,
saga.
blah, blah. And I think a few days go by or something. and you had asked me something about her or about, like my plans or like what
It was
I
like
did
10
for the weekend
days.
or whatever.
I know the specifics.
I think you're wrong. 'Cause
I know the day you broke up with her,
I
so don't get
remember
into this with me.
I remember that there was a big deal about me moving on within a week or after a week or
It
something.
was like, yeah, that's 10 days. It was like 2 weeks. Week and a half.
Someone's not counting, right? But it's fine. And then you had asked me something about her, and I had just told you, no, she broke up with me, blah, 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 blah. And I think that's when things started to
Well, it
to
was
be more open
interesting
and
because
flirting.
they broke up, but he didn't even tell.
Because one of the reasons why I didn't tell really anyone is because the people in our friend group, our mutual friend and everyone else in that group, were trying to make it a big deal if I was going to tell you about it.
They were. Okay, this is like a whole nother story. I don't know if we really have time to get into it. But they were keeping this breakup on the down low, which heightened the awkwardness of us like getting together or even like liking each other or talking to each other. Because why was it a secret for him to just tell to not tell me?
Because they didn't. If I told you right away, they would just like use it against me. It would just be something that they can make fun of.
Because I think they also like maybe had an inkling that you liked me.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's why. But I didn't know that at the time. So like I didn't know he liked me, and I was like, okay, that's not fair that he told all of his other friends about this breakup. And then when I would come to the table, they would like silence. They would stop talking about it, hide their phones, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? That happened. And so then I just thought he didn't tell anybody that he broke up. And so when I asked you and you're like, yeah, we're not together anymore. And I didn't even ask if you broke up. Didn't I just ask about your girlfriend?
Something like that. And
Something
I said,
like that.
I don't
You're
know.
Like, we broke up. And I was like, y'all hearing this? Like, I thought nobody knew.
Yeah. So that's kind of when everything started to happen. We were flirting more. I got her number because...
That's a whole nother story too. The cough drop rapper.
Right, but you said I got your Snapchat. No.
We had Snapchat because we were friends.
See, I don't really remember exactly.
Because you texted me
but
like,
I was sick.
Text
I'm sick
real.
all the time. And one time I had a bunch of cough drop wrappers. And I wrote my number, or I wrote something on it. I wrote my number, and I gave it to her after school.
And that was a whole saga.
It was a whole saga because the mutual friend, it was just miscommunication on top of miscommunication. And she got really mad at me. And
he wanted to do this like in private. He didn't want to do it.
And I didn't want her to be around because I knew she would make it a big deal or make fun of me for it. And I didn't want that to happen. So I just tried to tell her to leave us alone. But she
took it as leave, get out of my life.
No, she just meant it. She thought I meant like at that moment, and she got all mad. I don't know. It was just stupid. It was stupid nonsense from me and for her and just everyone involved. Anyways, I finally gave her this cough drop wrapper. I did say this story on my personal YouTube channel. Yeah. But long story short, I did drop it trying to give it to you, and we both tried to go and get it, but I think you grabbed it first, and then I let you get it, and then you kind of rejected me because you were nervous
my boots
and because your parents.
I was a nervous wreck, like anxiety attack to the fullest. I was dissociating. I was having an out-of-body experience because I was like, this wasn't the first time a boy has asked me out or given me their number. This is the first time that it's reciprocated. So I was like freaking out. I was like, I
might have the story a little wrong because I remember another time, maybe it was the same time, when I was telling you, I was trying to talk to you and tell you I would like to hang out with you.
That was the same time.
Okay, then I was trying to tell her that I wanted to hang out with her.
And I was like...
And I think it was just as friends.
I don't even know. You might have been getting that point across, but I just knew that he liked me and I liked him. So I was like, oh my gosh, the boy that I likes me back. I can't do anything about it. We're never going to be together. My dad is sitting in the parking lot waiting to pick me up because at the time I can't drive. I'm 15. So I'm like freaking out. And then I'm like, I don't want to turn him down because I feel bad. In the past, I've turned down people like that.
And I think we did say something like, if something about if it wasn't your parents, or if your parents weren't really like, if it wasn't about your parents, would you like go out with me or date me or whatever?
And I said I could if I would.
Yes, something like that. So then I went home and I was like really happy about it, but I was still upset.
I would if I could. That's what I said. I would if I could.
I'm sure.
And I probably sounded so dramatic, like I would if I could, like, but I'm not gonna. I'll spare you the details or something stupid like that. And like it was just because I'm a chronic people pleaser, and I just wanted. I knew what my parents wanted from me, and it just wasn't to date in high school.
Yes,
focus on your academics.
And to maybe fast forward this story a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I texted your number.
Yeah, and we started Snapchatting, and then
we were texting because we already had Snapchat.
I don't agree with that, but regardless, it was the end of the summer now. Something like it became the end of the summer pretty quick, or the end of the.
We were talking on the daily.
Excuse me. It was the end of the school year. Yeah. So now it's summer, and we were talking constantly.
Every day.
And then we went through, to me, multiple times of breaking up. Times like, this isn't going to work, is it? And then it was like, yeah, it's not. And then like maybe the same day we would text back and like, I miss you, blah, 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 blah.
But this entire time we never made it official. Like we just like, because
somebody didn't want to make it official.
Well, listen, I would just be like, we can't do this. But then we would just like each other so much that we somehow ended up like.
Man, freaking high school love. Do anything. And we just kept talking. And then around the time that the summer was going to end, I don't remember exactly.
It was almost time for school to start again.
School started. I went the first day. I was really excited. I was looking good.
But we broke up though.
I don't remember that. So she acted like she didn't even want to know me. We weren't even friends anymore, which made me upset. But we eventually started talking again, and we sat at the same table in one of our classes.
No, that's not how it happened.
I
think I broke it off in the summer because I was just like, I don't want to have to face this man ever again. Like, not because I hated him, but I was just like, it's going to be so awkward. So, like, let's just not even be friends. Let's not, like, we don't know each other. And so that's why I was doing that. I'm sitting with one of my friends in one of our classes, and he comes and sits right next to me.
Like one of our first classes that we had, in like the first class of the day, we had the same class.
Yeah, he comes and sits right next to me, and I'm like, well, there goes that plan.
No. I was at a totally different table, and then later on.
No, I'm talking about
the first class of the day.
I'm talking about in audio, video.
And I'm talking about the first class of the day. I'm pretty sure it was, because that was the first day. I saw you in that class, and you acted like you didn't know me, and then eventually I sat at your table with our mutual friend, and
yes,
yeah. So somehow, some way, we started even like more and more flirting.
It was you though.
We were basically dating, but not. Like we were in a relationship that wasn't. That neither of us were
ready for.
What is it? It wasn't official, but we were.
We were exclusive.
Yes. I was gonna say monogamous, which I guess would work. But I mean, it's just a stupid long story.
We loved each other.
And after a failed attempt, like we talked about it. Because I remember, like, a dance was coming up.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about it a little bit or something. And I was like, yeah, we're not going to go to this dance together because her parents don't even know I exist.
My parents wouldn't let me go to a dance with friend group, guys.
Buddy. And then I decided to go with this other girl who I had a crush on since, I think.
Yeah. Got me with a spoon.
I don't think it was kindergarten, but basically kindergarten. and she was single. She was taken all the way up until this point, and we never dated. She never gave me a chance. But now was my chance to ask her to this dance. And what do you know? Not the day I was gonna do it, but the day I was like maybe the day before I was gonna do it, she got asked by this other guy, and she said yes. And I was like, okay, that's it. That's whatever. And
That's heartbreaking.
And I took that as a sign.
Thank God for that instance.
You know what? I should try one more time with Elie. I said, I'm going to figure this out. And I don't know exactly how it happened, but I found her mother on Facebook and I messaged her. And I said, hey, I know this is kind of weird and you don't know me, but I go to school with your daughter and blah, blah, blah. I want to go out, go to this homecoming.
Yeah, it was homecoming.
And I want to go to homecoming with her. And what do you know? She set up a little meeting with me and your dad at the middle school because your brother was doing football practice or basketball practice there or something there. And we sat down. We had a pretty good conversation. And what do you know? I got permission to take you to homecoming.
Well, then, yeah. And, yeah. I'm sure a lot went down in that, but we also had to meet my parent. This is on my parents. My parents made us meet with one of his parents, and it just happened to be his dad.
I'm not sure where my mother was. She might have been visiting my brother in Hawaii.
But I'm grateful that because his dad is so like your mom is too, but like your dad is so like, why are we doing this? Like he wouldn't say that, but he's just like, Ryan can do whatever he wants, basically.
I wouldn't say that.
He wouldn't say
my
that,
dad's
but that's the vibe
attitude
he
was
gives off.
more of, he's a good kid. I understand why you're meeting with me, but
yeah, but like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, what would happen if your mom was there instead of your dad? Like, I feel like it would just be a bigger deal, I guess.
I don't know. I don't even know if we would have even gotten to go if it was just my mom there.
And so, like, on my anxiety, it was nice that Ryan's dad was there because he's just so chill.
Yeah, and it was a great time. And what do you know? Homecoming came and went. We had a great time.
We had a blast.
Although
our first slow dance. I
don't think there was any drama.
We were chaperones.
A little bit of drama. Maybe a little bit. Maybe not much. Just the fact that your parents had to be there.
There was drama, though.
I don't remember.
Your friend group drama.
That was not at that time.
At that time.
No, that was a...
Never mind. I just realized I wasn't even talking into the mic either.
Because that drama happened, I think, after that. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I don't remember.
Long story short, my friends had this... The friends in this friend group had this project, and they wanted my help with it. Because what do you know? I was a YouTuber, and they wanted my help with recording it. And I'm fine with that. That was fine. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Ryan came in clutch in our audio video.
That freaking day that we were supposed to get together and I was supposed to help them with their project. Elie and I had a class together, audio video production. That we had a project to do together. And what do you know? The only time that we can get together because her parents were so strict and her schedule was filled.
I was a swimmer.
Was that day that I was supposed to help my friends. So then I had after school, my friend called me and she goes like, "Hey, are we doing this?" I said, "Yeah, you know what? I can't today, but I don't know how long this is going to take, but this is my situation." And they got all sorts of mad. And that was the crack.
The beginning of the end.
Yeah, the beginning of the end of those relationships, which looking back at it, I wish it never happened. And if it was going to happen anyways, I'm glad it happened when it did, but I wish it didn't happen the way it did.
It shouldn't have happened in that
way. It was awful. I said some awful things to them and about them, and they said some awful things to me and about me. It's a whole other story, whole different ballgame there. But Elie and I had this project. She came over, we did it, and then I had plenty of time to go over to my friends, but they didn't want me to.
They shut him down.
And I did go, it was nighttime, and they were like, didn't really want to talk to me. But eventually, that whole friend group, I was not part of that group anymore. We had a different group.
Also, awful things were said about me too.
Yeah, and Facebook and Twitter and just blocking people and then making new ones, and it was just so stupid.
Yeah, like it was
childish, like middle school sort of bull crap. But with that being said, it was basically her, me, and two other of our friends that we were sitting at.
So like first I joined his friend group and then he joined mine.
Yeah, it was kind of like that actually. But yeah, I don't think there was. That was my senior year.
Yeah.
So graduation came. I walked with different friends. I sat with different friends. My previous friend group from the years before, and Elie was there at my graduation, and
my family was.
And there was multiple times in our relationship.
We've been through some stuff
from high school, past high school, until now. Where we've
had to be the main characters.
Much crap, drama with her parents, drama with me, drama with each other, drama with her other family members and
your family members.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm glad we did it together, and I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else.
We're married now.
Yeah, that was a huge deal too. This episode's pretty long, so I think we're gonna cut it pretty soon. But we finally, like, I was wanting to propose. I wanted to propose to you at your graduation.
That's crazy. I'm
glad
you did it.
And I remember her saying something like later on, maybe after it, saying something like, "I don't want to be proposed to in like a very public setting." And I think you said something along the lines of, "Why would someone want to propose during like this event, like maybe
feel
Christmas or Easter or some sort of like family event or some sort of event like graduation? Why would you? Would you want?"
That's still one of my hot takes. Like, don't propose on a
and
special
to me,
day. Make it a special day.
I was really gonna do it. I really wanted to do it, and I think, to be honest with you, I think I could have done it. I think they would have. I think the school would have let me.
I would have said
because
no.
I was pretty darn close with the freaking principal.
He was homecoming proposal.
Yeah, because I had a drone. I flew it at school.
I'm really glad you didn't.
There was drama with my friends and like bad drama.
That's true.
That I took care of by talking to the principal about it, and I owned up to some of the crap I said, and he said, "Thank you for letting me know, and I'm gonna make it act like someone else came and saw everyone in the group, not like each other and things, and then got called in the office over the intercom, blah blah blah."
Probably knew that was fake.
I don't know. I think they probably. I don't know.
Maybe they thought it was me.
I don't know, but regardless, I wanted to propose to you, and then because we were talking about your not graduating, but your college, where you're gonna go. Was it CWU or UW or WSU? And what do you know? It was central, and that wasn't too far. But we had a conversation about who was going to live where, when, and why, and for how long. And I wanted to get married so then we can live together, because you said that you didn't want to live together unless you were married, and that was a big deal.
Traditional gal.
And then, because your family is very religious and mine wasn't, and I wasn't, I was trying to work with what you wanted and what your parents wanted and what I was being restricted with. And we thought it was going to be this huge deal about getting married.
Another time where I was shaking in my boots.
But the day that I talked to her dad about it, he legit was like, he was like, "I want to have this conversation with you, Elie, and your mom."
My mom.
And I was like, okay. And it sounded like he was okay with it, but I didn't know for sure. So I was still extremely nervous about this. So then when we had this new meeting, we sat down and almost immediately
They were like,
his first thing was, when's the wedding? And I thought,
you're like, I just prepared this whole speech on how to win you over.
There is so much crap that we went through.
We don't have to get into all of it, but we've been through some
and
stuff.
We like were on the verge of like legit breaking up one time, and I was getting kicked out of the house. It was a big thing, but anyways, I had this whole thing made up in my head about this speech I was going to give, and the first thing that came out of his mouth was, when's the wedding? So it was just so nice.
From that day on, though, like, I just remember because we talked about getting married, like, really, like, soon up to this point, but, like, every day. We had the ring spot. Like, I was just so excited, and I wanted to be engaged, but, like, I didn't want to have this conversation with my parents because I thought it was going to be a struggle. I thought it wasn't going to be, like, I don't know.
And I think looking back with, hindsight, it was probably pretty obvious, maybe.
I think
about how it was going to go.
I think it was obvious to everybody but me. Or like
maybe, I don't know, but
I was just so nervous.
so then we were engaged, and then we were only engaged
for 3 months.
Was it really? It wasn't 3 months. Wasn't it 6?
We got engaged May 11th.
I mean, the journal's in there.
We got engaged May 11th, 2020. And we got married September 1st, 2020.
So, like 4 or 5.
3 and a couple days.
Anyways,
3.5. Let's say 3.5 months.
I'm not going to do the math right now. But we finally, we had to speed the process up because I didn't want you to be in the dorms again at college.
I mean, I probably would have got an apartment, but...
And because I didn't want you to spend more money, or because eventually it was going to be our money, and I didn't want to be spending money on...
He's like, why do I have to have
things that
loans?
We didn't need to do. So then we were speeding the process up, and what do you know? We got married, had, who knows, 12 to 18 at our wedding because of COVID, honeymoon. And we had this huge... I have a journal, and I had this huge thing planned out about like 200 plus people coming, where it was going to be. We were going to have a big wedding. And then like COVID happened, and everything was going down the gutter. And I mean, it was a good thing that we had a very small wedding, but I didn't get too much like footage, or the live stream went to crap after 20 minutes or whatever. And it was just, I still had a great time. We went on a
Our
great
wedding
honeymoon,
day was such a good day.
And everything was, has been perfect after that.
We've been amazing. No fights ever.
Many multiple fights, even after getting married. I think even before that, like when you were staying over or whatever, and I don't know, but we don't have to get into it. But now we're here. We have a house together.
We have 2 fur babies together.
Yeah, the other
We adopted a cat before we even got married. When we got engaged, the month after we got engaged. Not even. Yeah.
And this one over here she was so scared of this cat.
I've never had a cat before.
Oh my God, I wish I could have footage of that.
And now he's my little baby.
Yeah, and then this guy was part of the family for a little while, but it was with her parents, and we couldn't take him anywhere because we lived in an apartment, and that was a whole deal. And he's a big guy, and just the space he needs. But now we have a house.
If you're listening, not watching, we have a golden retriever. An English golden retriever, and he's pretty chunk, so he's sitting in between us right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that pretty much sums up how we met in our stories.
How we fell in love.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to talk about our first time or what?
No.
Okay. We don't have to go there. But I think maybe one day we could.
No. Okay. It's locked in the vault.
Potentially, maybe one day. Because I think that would be a hilarious story.
No. That one's locked in the vault. That's between you and I. Thank you.
So, I think now it's 8:30. I don't know how long this episode's, but it's freaking long.
It's probably an hour.
I'm gonna guess an hour and a half.
No, because we started the first episode at 7. Started episode 0 at 7.
Anyways, I don't know if we actually. I didn't even think about a true outro for this, but thank you for coming. Thank you for sitting with us and talking with us and having this wonderful conversation about how we met and stuff. I don't know what our next episode is going to be, but it's not going to be
figure it out.
back to back to this one because I'm tired now. And I know this guy needs to go OUT to go PEE and not me, the dog.
This guy.
And yeah, it's just getting pretty close to bedtime. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.